999. Let us play it. Part 32. Yeah, it's got a 3 on it. Good job, Grandpa. Just like the mountain had done, Silver thrust out his left hand. Sure enough, the face of his bracelet read 3. Very well then. I'll go next, shall I? My bracelet number is 1. Given that, I think Ace seems appropriate. I'll be Lotus, then. As I'm sure you all know, it has 8 petals, which means, of course, that my bracelet number is 8. I would appreciate it if you would call me Snake. My bracelet number is 2. Since Ace has chosen cards, then I choose dice. Snake eyes, clearly, which is particularly relevant given that I am blind. Blind? Really? He'd kept his eyes closed during their entire ordeal, which is suggesting something strange, but to hear it said so casually, well, it was something of a surprise. Everyone seemed a little nervous at the prince's proclamation, but nobody seemed to know how to react to it. There was one person, however, who didn't seem to be surprised in the least. The girl with pink hair. I want to be Clover. You know, like a 4-leaf clover? Good luck, right? Looking almost bored, she held out her left hand. The face of the bracelet showed the number 4. It had come around to Junpei. He held out his bracelet. Alright, my number is 5, so my code name is going to be Why Have One? It's not like there's any point to it now. The dancer cut him off in mid-sentence. I mean, we all know your name already. You're Junpei. Oh. They all nodded. Akane stepped forward nervously. Then you should all call me by my name, too. Because, I mean, it doesn't seem... It doesn't seem fair to Jumpy? You think it's not cool for you to hide your name after you told us his? Akane fidgeted awkwardly. Junpei decided that he had to do something. What's your bracelet number? It's 6. She hesitated for a moment, then held out her left hand. As she'd claimed, the bracelet's face showed a 6. Junpei looked at it for a moment and thought. Alright then, why don't we call you June? June? Yeah, you know, it's the 6th month of the year. So you're June. Jumpy. Akane kneaded her hands and looked up at Junpei, uncertain. He smiled back at her reassuringly. Are you good with that? She thought about it for a few more minutes, then seemed to come to a decision and gave Junpei a small nod. I need to learn to slow down reading sometimes. Their names decided, Junpei ran over them quickly in his head. 1 was Ace, 2 was Snake, 3 was Santa, 4 was Clover, 5 was Junpei's number, Akane was 6 and Junpei had given her the code name of June, 7 was 7, and 8 was Lotus. That meant that 8 of them, including Junpei, had revealed their bracelet numbers, but there was still one person left. He was the man with glasses and hair like a bird's nest. He hadn't said anything since they'd met on the stairs, and he didn't look like the sort of person who was inclined to conversation. His skin was pale, his breathing was heavy, and he was soaked with nervous sweat. His behavior seemed very suspicious, or perhaps simply emotionally unstable. It was difficult to tell. Whatever the case, it seemed clear that he had only a fingertip's worth of a grip on his sanity. The girl with pink hair, Clover, walked up to him slowly. She put her hands on the hips and eyed him suspiciously. What number are you? He didn't answer. His bloodshot eyes twitched from person to person, and his breath came in hot pants. Hey, I'm talking to you! The man licked his dry lips with a shaking tongue and spoke with a voice like old paper. Isn't it obvious? There are 9 people here, and you know who numbers 1 through 8 are. I'm the only one left. So you're 9? Yeah. He extended a trembling arm. The bracelet did indeed say 9. Clover looked at it contemptuously. What's your code name? Code name? What do you want us to call you? We all made up names, you should too. I don't need one. Why not? Because I'm not gonna stay here. With you. He took a shuddering breath and exhaled. Clover looked at him with something very like disgust. You got some sort of plan? I do. Yeah? What's that? You sure you want to know? Yeah? All right. Let me show you. I'm gonna do this! Ah! By the time they realized what he was doing, it was too late to stop him. That was kind of a weird scream. Anyway, the man's body moved like a snake's. In the blink of an eye, he had slid around behind her and wrapped his arm around her waist. Hey, what the hell do you think you're doing? Santa leapt forward toward Clover and the ninth man. He was halfway there when... Stay back! Suddenly the man's hand dove into his pocket and came back out with a knife. A pocket knife. He held it to Clover's pale, quivering neck. If you get any closer, I'll cut her open. Santa skidded to a halt. He snarled at the scrawny man with the knife and gritted his teeth. Yes, that's right. The man's smile was neither friendly nor reassuring. Sweat poured down his neck, soaking the collar of his shirt. Clover, are you all right? The snake's voice sounded oddly concerned. Yeah, I'm fine. Her voice shook, making her words even less convincing. God damn it. What the hell are you trying to do? I told you. This is my plan. What are you gonna do to her, you sick son of a bitch? Don't worry. I'm not gonna do anything to her. If she just does what I tell her to, I'll let her go. He started to move backwards slowly, keeping his grip on Clover. Keeping their distance, Junpei and the others followed. Eventually, the man reached to the wall. He gave a start as his back touched it, then glanced around quickly and spoke. Verify. Huh? The left. Look to your left. Do you see the device on the wall? Place your hand on the scanner panel, the round part. What if I don't? The man's nostrils flared, and he looked like he was about to choke. Are you an idiot? What do you think? I could slit your throat right now. I'll kill you if I have to. All I need is your bracelet. Just do it. Do it now. He pressed the knife against Clover's neck hard. His voice makes me run out of breath, and it's annoying. It's a good thing I don't have to do it much. Slowly, she stretched her left hand out towards the device. Her back was to it, and she had to feel around for a moment before she found the circular panel. It made a cold electronic noise, and on the display above her hand, an asterisk appeared. So that's how it works, Junpei thought to himself. By placing one's palm on what the ninth man had called the scanner panel, the user's bracelet number would be entered into the device. Should you total the numbers on your numbered bracelets, and find that the digital root of each that number is equal to the number of that door, the door will open. Junpei shifted his eyes to the door itself. The number on it was 5. The ninth man seemed to know a little more about the device's operation than he should. How had he known exactly what to do? Good, you're done. Next. His bloodshot eyes crept from person to person until finally they stopped on the ace. You, right? You're the one with the number 1 bracelet, right? Yes, I am. So? Then you're next. Just verify your number like this little brat did. What are you doing? Do it! Don't you care what happens to her? Okay, just calm down. Ace held up his hands, palms out. The ninth man jerked his chin towards the device. Slowly, cautiously, Ace moved towards the device. I never know how to act stuttering, or like when it has like a letter repeated. Like, okay. Well, sometimes I do, but not all the time. Okay, just calm. Anyway, sorry. After what seemed like an agonizing eternity, he reached it. Now, verify. Ace nodded and placed his hands on the scanner panel. The device beeped again and a second asterisk appeared. Now the device had Clover and Ace's numbers, 4 and 1. 4 plus 1 is 5. The same as the number written on the door, but it wouldn't open just yet. Only 3 to 5 people can pass through one numbered door. The door needed at least one more person. Who would that be? Get back! His voice shook, but the knife held to Clover's throat made his words a command. Ace took 2, then 3 steps back. No! Father! More than that! Go all the way back! Slowly, Ace did what he was told. The 9th man's lips curled into a cruel, twisted smile. That was when Junpei understood his plan. Clover's 4 and Ace's 1, added to the 9th man's 9. 4 plus 1 plus 9 is 14, 1 plus 4 is 5. In other words... Thank God you were all so cooperative. Now I can get out of this nightmare. He pressed his own hand against the scanner panel. A third asterisk appeared on the screen. He dropped his hand to the lever on the side of the device and pulled. The door opened with a heavy metallic groan. He let go of Clover. Wait! Junpei leapt towards the 9th man, but he wasn't fast enough. The man shoved Clover and hopped through the door. Okay, have a good one, you guys. I'm going off ahead now. Well then, goodbye. He raised his hand and waved, a twisted smirk on his face. Then he was gone. The door ground shut with a dull clang of metal on metal. Clover, are you alright? I know they're both brother and sister, but Prince always made me think English voice, and that's something to distinguish him, so, yeah. Snake ran to Clover's side as she lay on the floor. Yeah, I'm fine. She climbed unsteadily to her feet, and once there, leaned heavily on Snake's shoulder for support. Junpei ran to the door. The others followed him. Several pairs of hands grabbed a hold of the handles and pulled. They grunted and strained, but... Shit! It won't budge! That was when Lotus, the dancer, spoke. Her voice was quiet. Do you hear something? Like, what? Like some sort of beeping. Junpei pressed his ear against the cold metal of the door. The others did the same. You're right. I can hear it too. What is it? Then they heard something else. It was the 9th man. Shit! Why isn't it stopping? God damn it! You lied! Lied? This wasn't supposed to happen. This is wrong. This is wrong! His voice shook with fear. Safe on the outside, they stepped back from the door and looked at one another. What is happening in there? Or what is happening in there? Open the door! Please, I'm begging you! Help me! Please, get me out of here! Get me out of here! Junpei grabbed hold of the device. He slammed his hand on the scanner panel. Nothing happened. Why didn't it register him? He looked at the display where the asterisks have shown up. It said engaged. Oh my God! Oh my God, there's no time left! Listen, I was lied to! He lied to me! He put me in here! It was him! He killed me and it was him! The explosion rocked the room. Instinctively, they ducked, then stood up slowly when they realized there was no danger. No one spoke. Silence filled the room. In that silence, the electronic tone that echoed across the room sounded as loud as a gunshot. All eyes turned towards it. It had come from the device mounted next to the door. The display changed from engaged to vacant. Let's see if we can open it. 7, the mountain, swallowed hard. Junpei nodded and placed his hand on the scanner panel. A red asterisk appeared on the LCD display. The device had registered Junpei's bracelet number, 5. His was not enough, however. At least 2 more people were needed. Junpei asked, which pair? Let's go with Snake and 7. Just because why not? Snake, 7. You think you could give me a hand here? The pun was a little too on the nose, but the mood was still grim. Both Snake and 7 lifted their left hands silently. Slowly, each of them placed their hand on the scanner panel. 5 plus 2 plus 7 is 14, 1 plus 4 is 5. They'd fulfilled the conditions if they were to pull the lever on the side. Are you guys ready? I'm gonna open it. Junpei grabbed the lever and looked back over his shoulder. They stiffened and nodded. Junpei nodded back and set his mouth in a grim line. Then he slowly lowered the lever. There was a metallic groan, and the door slid open. A breath of air drifted out of it, carrying a stench that nearly made them gag. Junpei grimaced and put a hand over his mouth. Oh my god. Good god. Lotus and Ace shuddered. Seven grunted. Whoa. That's pretty bad. Even Santa's voice shook. He blew up. It appeared that Santa was right. The hallway on the other side of the door was splattered with chunks of torn flesh and dark red blood. Ah! The shriek echoed across the room. It had come from June. Then her strength left her and she dropped. As Junpei turned to catch her, the door groaned shut. She crumpled to the floor. June! You okay? Junpei dropped to his knees and put an arm around her shoulders. That was when he noticed. Her whole body was feverish. She was radiating intense heat. What the hell? Where'd this fever come from? June didn't answer. Her face looked like wax, and her whole body began to shake. All right, let's just rest for a minute, okay? You think you can walk? She nodded weakly. Junpei lifted June to her feet and guided her to a nearby chair. Here we go. As gently as he could, he set her down in it. How are you feeling? Are you all right? She nodded, and as she did, a single huge tear rolled down the side of her face. Why did this have to happen? Her voice cracked, broken by misery and grief and choked by sobs. Why did this happen? Junpei spun around. Do any of you know what the fuck is going on here? Who's Zero? What's this nonnery game? Come on, anybody? Anything? What the hell is going on? What the fuck are we doing here? No one spoke. Ace, Snake, Santa, Clover, Seven, and Lotus. They simply stood there. 7 pairs of downcast eyes, and 7 grim lines from mouths. June's body shook with silent sobs. They slowed as the minutes ticked by, and eventually they stopped. Then suddenly, in the cold, heavy silence that enveloped them like a thick fog, a bell began to ring. The clock in the central hall. 7, 8, 9, 10 times. And then, on the 10th ring, it stopped. The sound of the bell faded away into silence. It's 10 o'clock then. Ace said what each of them had been thinking. That means it's been an hour since Zero's little announcement. Seven's deep voice echoed across the room. Fuck! I had enough of this crap! Santa leapt to his feet, his fists clenched. How long are we gonna pussyfoot around like this? We've only got 8 hours until the time limit Zero was going on about is up. Let's get going already! Go! Go! Santa's outburst fell on deaf ears. No one seemed to agree with him. They stared back at him, their eyes blank and their faces tired. Finally, Lotus spoke. No, I refuse. I'm not going to end up like him. Him? You mean the 9th man? Of course. Who else? In his mind's eye, Junpei saw the corpse again. The dark, reddish-black pool of blood. The scattered pieces of flesh. Organs strewn across the floor like the blossoming of a grotesque flower. The explosion that had torn through his body had been powerful. The 9th man's neck had been twisted at an odd angle. Junpei suspected the detonation had thrown him against the wall. Half of his face was crushed, and the other half was covered in blood. Most of his abdomen had been emptied, either by the explosion or by gravity. He had landed on his back, and stark white ribs jutted up out of his chest like the legs of some sort of macabre crab. Junpei felt something flip in his stomach. I think he just screwed up. Eyebrows went up, and Santa continued. He probably set off some sort of trap, and that killed him. I'm not going to screw up like that. I'm getting out of here alive. What Whatever Snake was laughing at, Santa did not find particularly humorous. What's so goddamn funny? Oh, my apologies. You were just so very confident. I couldn't help myself. What the fuck? I think you've mistaken the situation. Huh? The ninth man's death. It had nothing to do with a trap, or at least not the sort of trap that you imagine it did. Then, he broke one of Zero's rules. That was why he died. Quite simple if you think about it. You still don't... Alright, how about you take a moment and think back to what Zero said? Specifically, what did he say about the number of people? He said only 3 to 5 people can pass through one numbered door, right? And after that? You've forgotten the relevant part. What did Zero say? Santa furrowed his brow in thought. Junpei thought back. Zero said that everyone who verified had to go. All those who enter must leave, and all those who enter must contribute. Right? I think it was something like that. Whatever it was, it means that groups of less than 3 or more than 5 can't go through. That is correct. A gold star for you, Junpei. Snake inclined his head towards Junpei. The ninth man, however, broke that rule. He tried to pass through a numbered door by himself. That was why he was executed.
Then Zero's watching us from somewhere, making sure we don't break any rules.
Oh, I'm not so sure of that.
Why not?
Because this execution system is entirely automatic. You didn't notice? There's no need for him to monitor us.
What do you mean?
Snake looked at Seven with what could only be described as pity and sighed. Very well. I see it must be me who tells you. I've waited long enough, I suppose. I'd hoped Zero might spare me the trouble, but that seems increasingly unlikely. He couldn't see them, of course, but perhaps Snake sensed the confused eyes upon him. When Ace spoke, he gave words to everyone else's thoughts.
Do you know something?
Well, I know a great many things, but yes.
What is it you know?
Here. Snake removed a card from the pocket of his jacket. With a flourish, he presented it to Ace, who took a close look at it and spoke.
Come on now, what's the point of giving me this? Give me that.
Snake snatched the card from Ace, but his expression of disgust quickly turned to one of confusion. Huh? The hell is this? Seven tugged it out of Santa's hands.
Huh, I see.
The card went from Seven to Lotus, from Lotus to June, and finally to the Junpei. He looked at it and understood. This is Braille. Braille, the written language of the blind. The card was covered with small embossed bumps. Junpei could recognize it, but he certainly couldn't read it. Sorry guys, I can't read this. Junpei handed the card back to Snake, who nodded at him with a small smirk. Okay, that was fun. What's so important about that card? I found it in my pocket. I can only assume it's a message from Zero.
From Zero? A message?
What does it say? Suddenly everyone was crowding around Snake, desperate to hear what the message said. Let's listen to that next time
on 999Z.
I've made that joke before, but anyway. Until that next time on 999Z, peace.